Hi there. Real quick before we jump into the episode. If you enjoy this episode, or any of the other episodes, be sure to give us a follow or subscribe. It would also be great if you shared it with a friend, or better yet, left a review so others can know how awesome it is. Thanks so much. And now, the episode. Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome to the Press Start Leadership Podcast, the podcast about game-changing leadership, teaching you how to get the most out of your product and development team and become the leader you were meant to be. Leadership coaching and training for the international game industry professional. Now, let me introduce you to your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher Mifsud. Welcome back, Press Starters. I hope you're doing awesome. On this week's episode of Press Start Leadership Podcast, I'll be discussing a very important topic, the importance of investing in people. First up, why it's important to invest in your team. There's an old office joke that goes like this. CFO asks CEO, what happens if we invest in developing our people and they leave us? CEO, what happens if we don't and they stay? While it's funny, it's also incredibly true. Most of us intrinsically know that it's important to invest in our employees, but we don't often talk about why. Let's break it down. Why is it important to invest in your team? 1. It shows you care. Genuinely caring about your employees is underrated in business. It can be easy to fall into the trap of focusing on numbers and quotas, especially in a management position, letting the human side of the relationship fall by the wayside. Not only does that affect the quality of the work, it also affects team members' loyalty to the company. 2. It creates new opportunities for growth. Making room for growth keeps your team members and your company from stagnating, and helping your team get better at their jobs only makes the work better as a whole. If someone does grow so much that they leave, you better believe they'll talk about their experience at your company, and you want it to be positive. That can only help your brand. Besides, you never know, what if they weren't the right fit for the job, but they have a friend that would be? 3. Technology is rapidly changing. Whether we like it or not, we live in a new world. Technology is constantly changing, so we have to reinvest in our people if we want to keep up with it. A veteran worker can become a noob overnight, and folks have to train regularly in order to stay current. It's not reasonable to ask them to do all this learning and training on their own time and dime, so we need to provide it for them. 4. Nobody's an expert forever. With things rapidly changing, how long can anyone really be an expert these days? What happens when the company's needs demand a new skill? We could take the time to hire someone new, post the job, conduct the interviews, onboard them, etc. Or we could teach somebody on staff that already has reasonable experience. The latter builds an employee's self-esteem and repertoire, and their loyalty to the company. Ultimately, you have a choice. You can expand the skill set of your team, or you can hire out whenever a new need presents itself. At a glance, it may seem tempting to skip the extra investment, but that's like choosing a 1-minute ad program over a 10-minute ad program. The 10-minute ad program is a little more work each day, but how much return do you really think you'll get from 1-minute abs? Probably 1 ab, if you're lucky. Skill up, always skill up. All right, Press Starters. Now for the second part of the importance of investing in people. How to invest in your team. Richard Branson once said, train people well enough so they can leave, treat them well enough so they don't want to. And Richard Branson is exactly right. After listening to the last part of the podcast, you may be wondering exactly how to go about it. How do you train and treat your team so well they don't want to leave? Well, let's talk about it. How do you invest in your team? 1. Continuing education. Even if an employee has gone to college specifically for what they do now, they still need to keep growing. Build on what they know. Are there new certifications or accreditations available in their area of expertise? Can you help them attain those credentials? 2. Skill building. While expanding the knowledge of their specialty is important, it's equally important they expand their lexicon and general knowledge base. What additional skills would support their growth? Although I had no interest in becoming an artist, taking 3D modeling and digital art classes helped me communicate with my art team. 3. Seminars and workshops. If you need to get someone or several someones up to speed quickly, sending them to a topic-focused seminar or workshop is the way to go. While continuing education courses often take weeks or months, seminars and workshops compress all that info into a few hours or days, giving you more bang for your buck. Speaking of workshops, check out my team-intensive workshops on leadership, processes, and execution. They can be done remotely and come highly recommended. 4. Conferences and conventions. To inspire or expand the worldview of your team, start here. Conferences and conventions are full of the latest exhibitions, showcases, and new technologies. It's the perfect way for your team to see what's out there while exposing them to different ways of doing things. 5. Leadership training. Once you've identified someone with the potential and desire to lead, it's important to train them ahead of time. It's critical for them to learn from their mistakes before the consequences of those mistakes fall squarely on their shoulders. Why? Visit my podcast, episode 4, on delegation to find out why. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, and if you know anyone who might be in need of inspiration and investing in their team, give this podcast a share. All right, and that's it for this week's episode of Press Start Leadership Podcast. Please send me any of your questions, and I'll answer them in a later podcast. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks. Oh, hi there. The episode's over, but thanks for sticking around till the end. If you're on the quest to elevate your team's leadership, production, or game design capabilities, I'm here to assist. Leveraging extensive experience and a strategic approach, I offer personalized audits, bespoke workshops, and leadership retreat facilitation to drive your team toward excellence. My commitment is to provide efficient, reliable, and proven support, ensuring you have the tools and insights needed to thrive. Ready to unlock your team's full potential and achieve unparalleled success? Don't hesitate to press start on your journey to transformation today. Feel free to reach out directly to discuss how we can tailor a solution to meet your unique needs and goals. Let's connect and take your team's performance to the next level.